There are very few things that almost everyone who went to elementary school around 2010 remembers. Fun lunchboxes, fire drills, and the crushing realization that you have exactly 3 seconds to remember 7 times 4 before the overly friendly man in the red polo shirt judges your entire academic future.
Time has run out for that question. Hey, you are typing in a lot of wrong answers. So please, don't type in wrong answers. I sent a note in email to your teacher and parent letting them know.
This is XtraMath. To teachers, it's a nonprofit miracle of data-driven efficiency. To students, it's a digital gauntlet that turned math class into a high-stakes psychological thriller.
I'm Mr. Welcome C. to XtraMath. I'm going to help you get better and faster at math. You want to be better and faster at math. Ready to get started? Press the button to start.
But behind the timer was a face, the man that the internet came to know simply as the XtraMath Guy. This is EdTech Hustle, and today we are going down the rabbit hole, the architecture of automaticity, the rise of a nonprofit empire, and the mystery of the man behind the screen.
Future.
Starts a conversation like that. I just sat down.
Alright, before we begin, I do have to say that this video was inspired by a video reflection by the Shrinkster. It's a recollection of a former XtraMath user, and it's quite awesome. So go ahead and check out that video in the comments. It's called The Hate for XtraMath Makes Sense. Alright, so XtraMath didn't start out as a product. It started out as a volunteer mission at Rocks Hill Elementary School in Seattle, Washington. In the mid-2000s, David Jeschke, a former Microsoft programmer who happened to be volunteering at the school, noticed that students understood the logic of math, but they were being derailed by the arithmetic. Things like finger counting and slow recall essentially caused mental traffic jams. Jeschke believed that automaticity, or the ability to remember a fact without a conscious effort, was the infrastructure of the mind. In cognitive science, this is known as cognitive load theory. With Jeschke being a programmer, we'll break this down in computer terms. So the RAM is your brain's temporary workspace. If you have to manually calculate by counting on your fingers or doing mental subtraction, that takes up a huge portion of your available RAM. The hard drive is where the automatic facts are stored. So when a student knows 14 minus 6 equals 8 instantly, they aren't calculating it, they're retrieving it from the hard drive. Those math facts are retrieved instantly. The RAM stays empty and ready to handle the actual problem, like long division, fractions, or algebra. This is called automaticity. So without this automaticity, students experience a bottleneck or a slowdown. Most elementary math problems are built on a series of steps that rely on each other. When a teacher explains a complex equation, a student without fact fluency gets stuck on that very first step. So while their brain is rebooting, just trying to figure out that one small calculation, they miss the next 3 steps of the teacher's explanation, and by the time they catch up, the class has already moved on. Now, to be fair to Jeschke, his observation wasn't exactly groundbreaking. Developers had been developing software to help students learn math facts for almost 3 decades. We had Number Munchers, Math Blaster, and even Nintendo released Donkey Kong Jr. Math on the original NES Entertainment System. It was a huge bomb, but I digress. The problem with these games is that they try to balance entertainment with learning, but ultimately the game part got in the way. Jeschke wanted to focus entirely on the learning. In 2007, he used his software engineering background to build what he called a Fluency Engine. His idea was ridiculously simple. Give students a no-frills, distraction-free interface where they could drill their math facts until they became second nature. The goal wasn't just to find the right answer, it was to find it fast, in under 3 seconds. This is the key to automaticity, where you can stop calculating and start instantly remembering. The idea was this: through relentless repetition and an adaptive algorithm that adjusted to every student response, the facts would eventually stick. Every win and every struggle was visually depicted on a color-coded mastery matrix. This was designed to be an easy-to-digest map of progress for students, teachers, and parents. But here's the thing that separates XtraMath from almost every other educational app in a student's browser. It was never built to make David Jeschke rich. While other platforms were raising millions of dollars in venture capital and locking features behind expensive paywalls, Jeschke took a different path. In 2009, he registered XtraMath as a 501c3 nonprofit. His business model was a public infrastructure approach. The core program was and still is completely free for teachers and students. He subsidized the costs through a mix of small-scale revenue and philanthropy. There's a premium version that you can pay for, sure, but even that is famously cheap. He relied on donations and federal grants like the Title I funding specifically designed to help under-resourced schools. Jeschke operated the entire organization on a shoestring budget, managing to reach millions of students for roughly 25 cents per child per year. You see, for Jeschke, this wasn't a startup looking for an exit strategy where he could retire on some private island. No, it was a mission. He genuinely believed that every child, regardless of where they lived, deserved a sound foundation in math. The goal was never profit. He simply wanted to help students. But answering questions over and over and over again could feel very robotic. To humanize the cold logic of the algorithm Jeschke designed, XtraMath introduced Mr.
I want to tell you about a program called XtraMath. You just need to figure out the answer and type it in.
For years, students wondered, was he an actor, a stock photo, maybe a hallucination brought on by math anxiety? Nope, it turns out he's a real hero. Mr. C is Christopher Robert, a national board-certified educator in the Seattle area who was actually recognized as a hero of the classroom in 2009. In fact, he was even honored at halftime of a Seattle Seahawks football game, which is pretty cool. You see, Mr. C wasn't a hired model from a talent agency. He was an educator at Rox Hill, known for being charismatic and enthusiastic. Sounds like he'd be an encouraging addition, right? Well, when XtraMath went global, that teacher energy was stripped of its context.
Hi kids, I want to tell you about a program called XtraMath. It will help you get better and faster at math. You want to be better and faster at math, don't you? Getting better at anything requires practice, and in XtraMath, we are going to practice math facts. By
To a
math
kid in a
facts,
quiet classroom, his enthusiasm didn't feel like encouragement. It felt more like surveillance.
Hi kids, keep answering the questions until I tell you that you are finished.
It appears that you are typing in wrong answers on purpose again. I'm sure you'd rather be doing something else right now than taking a math quiz, but it is really important for you to learn these math facts. Hey, you are typing in a lot of wrong answers. If you keep doing it, I will send the note to your teacher or parent letting them know.
Around 2019, Mr. C crossed a line from classroom tool to internet legend. As the website Distractify notes, the internet recast him as a villain, not because he did anything wrong, but because he became the human face of the timeout, the blue hourglass, the unskippable videos where he stares directly into your soul, that calm voice reminding you that he'll be notifying your teacher if you keep guessing answers. It landed squarely in the uncanny valley. In real life, Christopher Robert was being celebrated as a community leader, a skilled educator, and, from what I can come across, an overall good dude. But online, he was being photoshopped into horror memes and crazy videos. Same man, but two wildly different realities.
Hey, you are typing in a lot of wrong answers.
It seems that you are not taking this quiz seriously, so you know what I just did? I sent an email to your teacher and your parents, and trust me, they are not going to be happy once they read the email.
Already sent your
Teacher and parents an email so we can make sure this doesn't happen again.
I know that you know the right answers to these questions. Please don't put in wrong answers on purpose.
In fact, the website Know Your Meme, which is essentially the encyclopedia of internet culture, has officially documented the meme timeline of the XtraMath Guy. So where is Mr. C now? Well, despite being one of the most recognizable faces in the history of Gen Z, Christopher Robert has stayed remarkably private. He now works as a librarian at Rocks Hill Elementary, showing a dedication to learning. In 2023, XtraMath officially retired the live-action footage. They replaced the real Chris with a 2D animated version using an AI-generated voice to allow for more personalized coaching.
Hi there. My name is Mr. C, and I'm a math coach. I'll be your math coach when you use XtraMath. My goal.
The organization reached an agreement to continue to use his likeness, but the man himself has stayed out of the spotlight. He successfully distanced himself from his own meme legacy, and it makes you wonder, is that by design, or is he just unaware that for a whole generation, he is the final boss of the third grade?
Hey there, it's Mr. C here with Mr. C. I'm still around. I hope you are doing XtraMath and loving it. And I hope you enjoy the new Mr. C here. Take care.
But the friction of XtraMath was really never about the man, it was about the clock. The 3-second threshold is based on the forgetting curve, the idea that you have to be tested at the exact moment when a memory starts to fade. But for many students, that depleting progress bar triggered a fight or flight response. The mastery matrix became almost a wall of shame where every red dot feels like a permanent record of failure. Now, as adults, we know that everyone processes information at different speeds. Just because your friend can calculate 15 plus 38 a couple seconds faster than you doesn't mean that they're actually smarter. But a 7 or 8-year-old doesn't know that. Put yourself in the mind of a second grader. You're getting the answers right, but it's still not fast enough. The program is asking you to solve problems that you already got correct simply because you didn't beat the clock. To make matters worse, you glance over at your buddy's screen and he's already moving up on double-digit subtraction while you're still stuck at basic addition. At that age, you don't have the capacity to understand the goal of automaticity or the architecture of your working memory. You don't think, I'm currently optimizing my long-term retrieval. You just think, wow, I really suck at math. And that's why critics like Stanford's Joe Bowler, a proponent of the growth mindset, argue that speed-based systems punish the most creative thinkers. If you solve 9 plus 6 by thinking 10 plus 5, you're actually using high-level number sense. But XtraMath will give you a green check mark instead of a smiley face because you weren't fast enough. And that's why in this ecosystem, performance beats depth. Look, XtraMath might be frustrating. For some students, it might even feel like it sucked. But even if you hated every second of that 3-second timer, the heart of the program was completely altruistic. Founder David Jeschke, who passed away in December of 2024 at the age of 57, didn't build a product to sell your data or to get rich. He built a tool to help. He lived to see his Rocksville project grow from a small elementary school experiment into a global standard for teaching fluency. However, efficiency without empathy does have a shelf life, and whether Christopher Robert is remembered as a supportive math coach or a digital nightmare depends entirely on whether you could beat his clock. He remains the face of a very specific, high-pressure era of digital education, one that almost all Gen Z survived together. But here's the thing, whether you view it as a vital tool for learning or a traumatic classroom experience, one thing is undeniable. XtraMath is a testament to the power of a single focused mission. In David Jeschke's mind, he wasn't creating a disruptive startup, he was creating a platform to help kids learn their math facts. He could have sold this to a massive tech conglomerate for millions, or he could have pivoted maybe to turn a profit, but instead, he stayed true to the mission until the very end. So, whether you were tormented by Mr. C or you cruised through to a trophy, I think we can all agree that having someone care that much about how kids learn is actually kind of cool. So let me ask you, did Mr. C give you math fluency or a math panic attack? Tell me your story in the comments. And if you're a proud green checkmark survivor, like, subscribe, and leave a super thanks. This is EdTech Hustle, and I'll see you in the next video.